The first thing I'm gonna do, so the way this is gonna work is we look at this per mode in PvP, and that decides where the weapons go. There's next word, just that one. That's the only one. So now we have to try to get through this because people wanted to do this on a Monday, which I think a Saturday would have been more chill, but like it is what it is. The Monday pull one. So there's 105 possible weapon combos in the game apparently, and we need to strike a bunch from this list. I'm just gonna go through here and start Xing stuff out. And if you think it's a viable spec, yell at me and we'll keep it in here. But I'm gonna start just throwing stuff in not viable. So like, and then we could just ignore that and we can go over the other stuff with votes. So like Flail Greatsword, not a viable spec. Flail SNS, we probably need to vote on that. Flail Rapier, not really a viable spec. Flail Firestaff, not really a viable spec. Like Lifestaff Flail technically is a PvE spec, but like I don't think this is really a viable spec. If someone differs with that, then we can vote on it. Bow Flail, same thing, probably not viable. Flail Warhammer's slightly more viable. Maybe worth voting on, but probably will still get not viable tier. Flail Musket, not viable. Flail Hatchet, still not viable. Flail BB isn't terrible. Flail Great Axe probably belongs in not viable, but like debatably we can vote on it. Flail IG's viable. Flail VG's viable. Flail Spear, argue probably not viable, but it's like borderline. Anyone there disagree with anything I just cut? Flail Hatchet has some creature cooks, but it's bad. Where you just use Hatchet for living. Oh, and you just use Flail as a DPS, like, nuker thing? I've seen that with, like, SNS, but you kind of need the SNS to set up the Flail. Like, I've never seen just, like, raw dog Flail Hatchet. There are some Odo Spear builds. How does Odo Spear even work? Like, isn't Odo when you block? Yeah, on block, heal for 5. Oh, it's when you deal... Oh, you're doing the 20% more damage on the knockdowns. So you think we pull Odo Spear off of there? I mean, we can, but... That seems pretty niche, but yeah, we could pull that, I guess. So, we could vote on this one, too. Alright, I'm trying to go through this, like, relatively quickly so we can get to the voting stuff. SNS Greatsword is viable. Yeah, I'm not gonna cut this one. SNS Greatsword is a thing. Greatsword Rapier... Actually, I think that's viable for next season. I don't think it's the best option, but I think it's viable. Because of new artifact Greatsword, you run it with low con, you run a Rapier as a secondary, and you have dex-based scaling with the Greatsword, you have dex-based scaling with the Rapier. It's not the worst cook in the world, but it's like awfully cursed. But yeah, I think it's probably worse Hatchet. Greatsword Firestaff, not viable. Greatsword Lifestaff, I'm gonna put that there. Bow. Warhammer, I'm just gonna throw there early on. Musket, I'm gonna throw there. Hatchet's viable for sure. Greatsword BB, I mean, I guess. But, like, probably not. Greatsword Great Axe, I've never seen this be run once, so I'm just gonna throw it here. IG, no. VG, no. Spear, technically viable. You can't say it, I've gone over too many builds. A Greatsword Great Axe, I assume you're talking about? Sword's one message up. Oh, Greatsword Bow. Oh. Yeah, I didn't cut that though. Or did I? Oh, I did. Oops. Yeah, we can keep Greatsword Bow in here then. My bad. SNS Rapier, we can cut. SNS Firestaff is technically a build. SNS Lifestaff is like a really old build that doesn't really work anymore. Oops. SNS Bow, we're gonna cut that. Warhammer's fine. Musket's a no. Hatchet's like, it's technically something we could vote on, but it's still gonna get F tier, so I'm just gonna put it there early. BB actually has been playing in wars recently, so I can't exactly cut it. Oh, wait. Wait, I'm thinking of the wrong build. No, sorry. Hatchet is something we definitely vote on. I forgot about that. That it's used in Kill Squad now. I'm thinking like all of these as a tank perspective for some reason. No, yeah. Very good. Oops. Brain fart. BB, we can go over Great Axe. We can go over IG. We can go over VG. We can go. I don't want to vote on VG. Send a spear. Definitely go over that. Firestaff. Rapier, we can go over. Rapier Lifestaff, we can go over. Rapier bow, we can go over. Warhammers, a no. Muskets, a no. Hatchet, a no. BB's a no. Great Axe is a no. IG's technically viable. VG's technically viable. Spear is viable. I don't think it's used a lot. Yeah, SNS VG is like so dated beyond belief right now, but some people just still play it to mix stuff up, but it's like not really worth poking on. Firestaff, Lifestaff's a no. Firestaff bow's a no. Warhammer, Musket, Hatchet. Is Hatchet not viable? Like, I feel like this is something that people have cooked at least once, because they're not using, like, they don't want to use IG and they don't want to use Rapier. Like, it sounds so cursed. Inferno's dots don't scale off of strength, right? No, they don't. So you can't use it strength based. It would be utility hatchet, damage Firestaff. Yeah. I mean, yeah, we could vote on that one, I think. Firestaff, BB. Yeah, we can vote on that. Firestaff, Great Axe. Yeah, that's a thing. IG's a thing. VG's technically a thing. Spear is not a thing. Lifestaff bow's not a thing. Lifestaff Warhammer is obviously not a thing. I'm just gonna copy multiple of these. Lifestaff hat. Oh wait, we already got to one that's viable. Unlucky. Hatchet's a thing. BB, Great Axe, IG. Yeah, I'm gonna cut IG for now. Nah. I won't cut IG yet. It's like we borderline should cut IG. Lifestaff with Great Axe at the Tempest Fury is a thing. I forgot about that spec. That's like an OPR spec, but it is a spec. You are right. Thoughts on the big war miicrow? I mean, outside, there was nowhere to play in terms of quads or kill squad because the kill squad literally got farmed to fort, and then inside was just really messy and there was no clean wipe, and that was about it. We never were able to force a regroup. Well, we were forced like one regroup like early on, and that was kind of it. I think I bought too many kegs. I ran out of cleanse at some point because we didn't get a rebuy in like over 10 minutes of fighting, which is kind of crazy, but that's like just general thoughts. Great Axe. We already talked about that. IG. I did not feel comfortable though, like playing the spec I was playing. Like there was not enough like free space to play, and it was just like very rough forcing certain spots. Spear's not a thing. I ran Lifestaff was Tempest Fury multiple times against Dropout's main and got top heals multiple times. It's good for the grid on the whirly. Yeah. I haven't seen it at all recently, but yeah. I'm gonna say Bow Musket isn't viable. No, it's viable in open world. Hatchet's viable. Blunderbuss, no. Great Axe, I'd argue no. IG, I'd argue no. VG, I'd technically viable. Bow Spear, I've seen it, but I'm gonna argue it's not viable. And fight people on that argue you could play that build in OPR because it's terrible. And it like used to barely be viable, but now it's definitely not. Warhammer builds. Yeah, none of these are a thing besides like Blunderbuss. Yeah, none of those other ones are a thing. All right, we're almost at the bottom. Yeah, no, we're not going Warhammer Ice Gauntlet. Musket BB's not viable due to the. I'm gonna put Firestaff in here too right now. Firestaff BB, I'm gonna cut it, and the reason why is like apparently the dot isn't working from the secondary Blunderbuss effect, so there's like no reason to ever run this right now. So I'm gonna cut both of those. Just or not Flail. Oops. Where's Firestaff? I'm gonna cut Firestaff BB because the Blunderbuss effect's bugged. Musket Hatchet, good. Musket Great Axe, no. These are okay. Now we're down to Hatchet and like some other curse builds. Hatchet BB is a thing. Great Axe Hatchet technically is a thing. Hatchet IG. These ones aren't things. Hatchet Spear is definitely a thing though. BB Great Axe is a thing. BB IG is a thing. VG is a thing. Spear is not one. Oh yes, it's a thing indeed. Which build do you guys want me to put back on here? Because I'm cutting stuff to go fast, but if you disagree, we could put one back on here to vote. Bow Spear isn't good, but definitely doesn't belong in F. There's no way anyone unironically plays Bow Spear. I mean, Firestaff BB like literally is bugged. Like, why would you ever use the Blunderbuss? Have you? Do you have SNS Inferno? We haven't voted on it, but it's in the spot where we need to vote on it. Okay, if you're gonna fight about Bow Spear, we could put Bow Spear in like a thing that we vote on. I just don't expect it to like be a good build. What's the other one? Firestaff BB. You want to vote on that, even though it's bugged and it doesn't even work right now, so there's no point in running it. And 3v3s in open world, Bow Spear also work. It's the CC chain and dot damage. What even is content in open world? Because FFA is just team content where you're fighting 5 people as one person. And then like I guess there's influence races. Like is open world content like even a thing right now? Influence races and fort fights? I mean, yeah, that's kind of it, isn't it? Musket, Hatchet, Bow Spear, we have VG. Which were the last ones we had? Great Axe Ice Gauntlet, Great Axe Void Gauntlet. Those are things technically. Spear is not really one. IG VG, IG Spear is a thing. VG Spear probably could be a thing, but it's not one. miicrow is just a spear hater. Why? Because I cut BB Spear and VG Spear? BB Spear like was nichely played at one point, but I haven't seen it in like months. All the spears. There's still spears on here. They're just like sorted differently because they're like with offhand stuff. Okay, let me pretty this up a bit. Is there a better way of doing this? Then we could start voting on specs. There's a single spear? No, like Greatsword spear is here. It's just not labeled spear Greatsword because we don't want repetition. There's multiple spears on here. They just aren't in the order that you're like thinking about. I zoomed in by accident. Oops. my gosh, we don't have S because of the spreadsheet. My life is ruined. It still says S over here. It still says S. What do you mean? And then I need to... Where's the freeze thing? View, freeze, first row. So if we scroll down, we still see this. Okay. So is there anything that you guys want moved from the not viable to a build that we vote on? Like, speak now or forever hold your peace. And I'm gonna go turn on my fan because it's, like, pretty warm outside. Hold up, let me read the rejects. Okay. I can share a... anyone with link can view copy of this too in the chats. So it's like, if you'd rather like go through it that way. Like I'll give you guys like another like 2 minutes and then I'm gonna move on to actually voting. But we have 53 builds that we're considering that are something we could vote on. Which is still a good amount. And then I'm also gonna do a tier list like alongside of this and we can compare the two at the end. What the fuck is hat? It's Hatchet. Do you have a better abbreviation for Hatchet? I don't know what you call it otherwise. You literally just spelled out the entire thing though if you do hitch. Like it's like just add an I or like an A at that point. Okay, no, there's more things to it. I'm wrong. There's like 3 more things to it, but still like it's for people who normally just say hat. Tech support stream. I think we're ready to begin voting on stuff. So I'll have my tier list. We'll have the chat one. And I'm gonna save another one just as like a blank copy at the end, just so that I could save that in case we need to like recover something. But the way this is gonna work is there's gonna be a poll on the Twitch chat, the YouTube chat. I never figured out how to do polls there. I don't think they actually exist. If they do, let me know, and then I can run it there too. But I don't think they exist in YouTube. Let me try /poll just one time. Yeah, no, they don't exist still. So we could do the Twitch polls. For S, this is saying that the build is... Why does it say overpowered and good? Where'd my other stuff go? It wasn't saying that earlier. This should say good and or strong in every mode is like what I was thinking, and then we just say strong in 3+ modes for A, we say strong in 2+ modes for C, strong in at least 1 mode for D, and then E is not viable. So I'm gonna change that real quick and delete these two, so that we're consistent on the verbiage, because I got complaints about that, and we'll go from there. Alright. And this is for Season 9, so keep in mind, in Season 9, we have new Greatsword coming out. So, like, currently in Season 8, I'd say Greatsword is, like, generally viewed to be a not as good build in a lot of modes. But in season 9, it might be good enough with the new thing that comes out. I got complaints about that. I'm right here. Okay, yeah, it's all Crush's fault. But anyways, starting with this, I'm going to start the poll for the first one. We're going to be voting on Flail SNS. The way to look at this is you vote in terms of where you think the build would be best. So whatever spec you think the build is best on, vote that for the different modes. So like Flail SNS, like arguably really good tank build. I've run it in 3v3 when I had to get my Onk leveled up, and I only lost 1 match out of 3, and I got like 6 kills like per match. So like, I don't know, like I guess it works there, but I mostly think of it as a tank build. Anything else to know about this one, really? Not really. I mean, when I look at it, really good war build. OPR, by really good war build, I mean it's like one of the viable variants with SNS. Like I think full SNS and SNS IG are the 2 most commonly used ones. In terms of open OPR, it works there too, but I wouldn't say it's like extremely common, but it's still used a lot. And then open world, yeah, it's good. So like for me, it checks at least 3 modes. The question is for CTF if it would check it or not for that 4th mode, or like strong in every mode. I'm probably gonna put this in A. It's good for open world, like for fort fights. Can you still assassin combo with Flail SNS or nah? Yeah, you can. You're right. If you think about it as an assassin build, then it's viable in 3v3 for sure. It's viable in OPR. It's viable, and yeah, no. So no, you're right. If you think about it as like, yeah, it could be used as a assassin. Then yeah, you can run it in every mode. It's just like kind of weird. So that one's going in S for you guys. I kind of agree at the end there. I was going to put it in A when I was thinking about it mostly as a tank thing, but if you think of the fact that it has flexibility to be like a light assassin and to be a tank, like we could put it in S. Like I think that's fine. All right. So next one we have is Flail Warhammer. I'm not gonna lie, I have not really seen this build a lot, but the whole cook with it was you use Odo and then you deal 20% more damage to people who are knocked down, and it could be like a kind of a combo oriented build. I think this is something that people tried and then they found that Odo's punishment wasn't working super consistently and it like didn't exactly catch on. But it's like a fringe option, I guess. Chat strikes again with the perspective. That's why you guys are here. You guys are smarter than me sometimes. If you're smart, you get work done with this, but it's just like a worse version of 4 other builds. Yeah. All right, we're going C. That's the very consensus with the poll right now. I mean, I honestly don't see this like being something that's that great ever. Like I'm gonna put this in not viable. Like I feel like it's like one of those builds where yeah, you could play it, but it's like there's not really a good reason to, and I would argue it's not really strong in any mode, but it's like it's okay. So like you could run it, I guess, but it's just kind of weird. All right. Next we have Flail BB. Flail BB is a build that people kind of ran a while ago. I think it's sort of underrated right now, but it has a fundamental flaw where everybody's running Power Stone on Flail. And if you're running Power Stone on Flail, you don't have room for an artifact slot, so you can't really fit artifact BB anymore. So it kind of turns into a situation where it's like, do you want to cut the artifact Flail for the BB, or do you just want to run BB for blast shot, or like it sort of has an identity crisis. Do you want me to do the rest of the polls, or do you want to do them? You can do them if you want. It doesn't really matter too much to me, but if you want to do them, I will let you do them. So, I don't know. It's something that's like this is like kind of a niche thing. I don't think it's as viable anymore as it used to be. Like this used to be an actual build, but Power Stone kind of just power creep the heck out of it. I'm eating, so I'll let you do them. Okay. You guys got an F. I tend to agree. It used to be a build, now I would say no. We got Flail IG. Flail IG is pretty meta in terms of point play. Like, that's what I was playing in that last war. In terms of like how it's played, it's used as an IGL slot in wars. It's used as a just utility flail slot. IG is obviously very good. Flail is good in large scale. So I'd say this is like at least good in war and at least good in large scale. The question then becomes, is this good enough to run in OPR? Is it good enough to run in CTF? I think it's good enough for OPR. I would argue it's not good enough for CTF. Anything with IG is probably A. I mean, yeah. Like, the problem that you have with CTF is you need to, like, actually get kills, and IG just kind of does nothing. It's, like, kind of a LARP thing where you just, I don't know, help people get kills off of crashes. So it's, like, I don't see this being viable in, like, anything less than, like, 20v20 scale, really. And that limits itself to, like, 2-3 modes. So you guys have it A. I tend to agree where it should probably be an A. No one uses outside of war. It's not bad in OPR, and it's something that you can run in influence stuff because influence stuff is large scale. Got Flail VG. This is more of a fun one for smaller scale stuff. So like 3v3 Flail VG is definitely a thing. Like up to like it's better in smaller scale and falls off in larger scale. It's kind of like the opposite of Flail IG. So, like, I feel comfortable playing this in 3v3. I feel comfortable playing this in 10v10. I feel comfortable playing this in OPR. I feel like it's not bad in open world if you have gear to support it. Like, if you have, like, a haste-oriented build, this can work out pretty nicely because you have orb for procs, and then Flail can just generally get decent value. War, I'd say probably not. And then also keep in mind, this is for next season, so we have Flail that's getting buffed with more healing. If you run it in medium, you also get a buff to healing. So it has the potential to be even better. So you guys got it in B. I'd argue in terms of 1 mode, OPR, in terms of 2 modes, CTF, in terms of 3 modes, I think you could run it in 3v3 as just like a way to confirm kills on healers. Like, it's not bad for that. And it's like a good way to like have a substitute healer slot. And honestly, with anything with a Q, this is kind of a broken build because you don't take the healer slot and you have decent heals. Like, it is comparable to, I'd say, like about half an AoE healer. So like, it's automatically good in OPR. It's automatically good in CTF because both those are Q-based modes. It's automatically decent in 3v3. So I don't think it's any worse than A, to be honest. While also providing countless debuffs and buffs. Yeah, exactly. I wouldn't say it's like strong in every mode. Like, I wouldn't say it's great in war, but it's good in a lot of them. We have Flail's Spear up next. This is one I think I had an F tier originally, but there's an argument that if you run Spear with Odo, you can get a lot of value. PvE, it's definitely, I think, I mean, I don't know why you'd run Flail on Spear in PvE, but I guess you could. But it's like not the worst thing in the world because it's a debuff, and Spear does well with debuff-based secondaries. There are too many other better options for Spear. Yeah, it's like I wouldn't really run this, but like there's a cook to where you run it with Odo, right? You put someone on the ground, you do more damage to them. Like there is a cook there. But yeah. There's just zero reason to not run SNS Spear or Spear Hatchet. I mean, yeah, those are just like objectively better, and then Spear Rapier is like also like somewhat viable still, so I don't know why you'd really run Flail with it. But hey, maybe next patch with Flail buffs, it becomes somewhat okay. If you die to this, you have to reconsider your own build. Oh my god, here we go. S tier for everything. Tie between C and F. I'll give it the C for you guys, but I'm putting it in F to be honest. Like I don't think it's really strong in anything. Alright, time for Mighty's build. This is why he's here. We get to vote on Greatsword SNS for next season. Question is Greatsword's I think been struggling for a couple things, and Mighty, you're probably better to correct me on this, but I don't think Greatsword's Relentless Rush consistently goes through Ice Shower anymore, and that was like one of the best reasons why it was used. The common saying is if you go Greatsword at all and you're in red stance, you're just gonna get nuked. But Twofer had a war yesterday where he got 7 kills and died twice. I don't really fully believe that. But the other thing that's coming in mind is like next season we're gonna have Artifact Greatsword that, you know, you can do a heavy attack and send a giant wave through the middle of the point. So it'll be interesting. I think this is at least good in 3v3. I think it's at least good in I think the question for this is like it's between A and S, and it's like, is it good enough to be run in war at all? And like I think like if we take strong literally, like yeah, you could run it in war. It's just like, and it will probably be better next patch compared to this patch. So it's like that's the mode where it's like the most questionable, I would think. I think it's A, but it might be S with Artifact. Yeah, it's. I think I would still put it like I'm a little concerned putting it in S because I don't know about war. It was like the one thing, so maybe I bump it down to A. Like that's the one where it's like I think it's questionable right now, but it's for everything else it's definitely good enough. I would legitimately rank it like A- or B+. Yeah, that's fair. Like I mean 3v3, like hell yeah, it's great. Like 10v10, like I think it's pretty good. OPR, I feel like it's arguably better than 10v10, so it's like somewhere between that B and A range. Spear's just better right now. I mean, yeah, that's the unfortunate part. But then next season, maybe meta shifts. Greatsword Rapier, I'm surprised I didn't take this off the list. Oh, that's why I didn't take it off. I let me put the poll up. I remember why I didn't take this off now. So with new artifacts, one of the builds for that new artifact where you're sending waves throughout the point could be to throw on a utility-based offhand that you could just live with, and you just run the minimum possible con. And in terms of those offhands, the two that come to mind are Rapier and Hatchet. Rapier technically is, I think, viable because you could run deck space skilling with the Greatsword and the Rapier, but it's like kind of cookish. I tried this build, but the lack of mobility is what makes it kind of bad. Melee tracking is so cooked, which kills it. Yeah, but you don't even like necessarily have to worry about melee tracking next patch because you can just like send waves everywhere. And then you have Greatsword to like get some distance away, and you have Rapier to get some distance away. The problem with this build is I feel like it like there's no way it's S because it just gets legitimately farmed by SNS Great Axe. Like there's no way this lives. Like someone voted S. Hatchet with Greatsword's going to be S tier next season. I'm going to cook with the new artifact. Yeah, I think so too. But Rapier is the one that's like, eh. So B, C, S. So I think Ty would go to B. I'm probably going to put it C. Like I feel like you could run it, but I just don't expect it to do that well anywhere. We got Greatsword Bow. I wanted to cut this one off this list, I'm not gonna lie. But I was convinced that it's viable in open world at least. Greatsword Bow is not that bad, y'all are cooked. I have never seen a single Greatsword Bow player that like hadn't just picked off the game and was like, I just want this giant sword and just want to shoot people with bow. Like I feel like it's like an RP class. One of my buddies ran this in open world and did it pretty decent. I mean, yeah, like
I'll give you the credit and put you in at least C tier, but like I just do not like if I think of like 3v3, like good God, like I do not want this on my team. If I think of like OPR, it's like also the same thing where it's like I don't want this on that team. Like 10v10, like please no. But like open world, like influence race kind of stuff, like sure, I guess. All right, we got an F here. Not a lot of fans. All right, we have a build that could be insane next patch. It depends what you think with the artifact. But Greatsword Hatchet. I think the primary idea with this is you go low con, use Hatchet to survive, go a lot of strength, a lot of dex and Greatsword, and just play to destroy people. And what? You have 650 stats now, so it's probably 300, 350, or it's 350, 305. Or I guess if you want to be like less greedy, you could up the con a bit. Wow, you guys are all over the place here. I should probably put the chat and like Hatchet like on the screen somewhere so that people could see it from the VOD. But this one is bipolar Horizon. Medium probably Tumbler, stack shirking, heals, crescent wave, profit. I mean, that would definitely be the safe way to run it. Bro, what are we thinking with a greatsword that shoots projectiles? What the hell? I don't know. This thing is like it's pretty hard to evaluate, I'm not gonna lie. So you guys had it AS with more things on the lower bound, so I'm gonna put it in A for you. Uh I'm not gonna lie, I feel like this is a build that could be very easily meta next patch in every single mode. Like the only mode I'm like a little bit questionable with this is like 3v3, but I feel like you could cook something with this that's good with 3v3. Did he already pass Greatsword Flail? Crescent Wave is arcane damage, but so it might be a cook. Yeah, we did. I mean, we voted it not viable. We just cut it off the list. I'm not gonna lie. I could do a pity poll on there, but it's gonna be fast. For Flail Greatsword. Idea being Flail has arcane stuff, Greatsword has arcane stuff. I'm gonna give this like 5 seconds and then we'll cut it. Okay, yeah, F. Okay, we're good then. Low Greatsword F tier, what the hell? Yep. Greatsword Spear. This is a funny build that some people have tried to play, but I think fell off pretty hard recently. The build is cooked due to lack of mobility, but can work in some Giga Curse builds. I mean, that's the problem with it. But if people are like actually fighting you and not running away, I mean, yeah, probably only 3v3. I mean, that's kind of what I'm thinking. People actually did play this build in war. Like, this was a build that people played in war at one point. They would use Greatsword with the Calamity counter and use that to hold space like they were blocking, and then use the spear to be on people and the Greatsword to go through ice showers and stuff. Problem is like, you can't go through ice shower and Greatsword anymore. miicrow, could you drag the Chrome tab out and crop it so you don't have to keep redragging the chat? Like this? Like, you want to do that? You could do that, or like this, and then make the chat wider. Oh, I'm on the wrong one. Yeah, I feel like 3v3 only at this point for this one. SNS Firestaff. is the Flame Kitten build. Smolder Kitten. Viable definitely for a few patches. I think I haven't seen it as much in OPR anymore, I'm not gonna lie, but I mean you could still run it. Bori is triggered today. uh, I feel like it's honestly not the worst build in the world in 3v3. It's still pretty bad. All right, I'm banning. There's 2 people that voted S. They're trolling. They're griefing the poll. This is what I mainly play. I mean, it's definitely not viable in war. I can tell you that much. So I don't think it belongs in S. I don't know if I'd ever go above A. I feel like it's unironically like not the worst build in the world in OPR. Like I've unironically seen this build carry OPRs because there's just no healers on the point whatsoever, and it just burns everyone to a crisp over time for some stupid reason. And I feel like it's not the worst build in 3v3, so I'm actually gonna put it in B, but it's like a really cursed B. Like unironically, I don't hate when I see this build in OPR. Like a lot of PvEers run it too. F tier build for F tier players, in my opinion. I'm saying I don't think it's the worst build in a few modes, but it's definitely not great. You're sitting here telling me this is B, but Greatsword Bow is F? Uh, yeah. Just for OPR and like 3v3. Like, if you have an if you have an SNS Firestaff and you're queuing 3v3 and the other team doesn't have a healer, you literally just auto win. So I don't know. I'm sticking by that, but you guys have enough. SNS Warhammer's like the OG tank build that never really took off. Um, Not bad in OPR for sure. 3v3 as a stall build with the clear out Warhammer waiting for an OT situation to knock people off so that you auto win is, I guess, a thing. It's fucking cursed. It's just bad SNS Flail. I mean, with Yeaterson, like, maybe it's okay in 3v3, but like the thing is, like, compared to this SNS Flail, is like, this could heal itself. Like, SNS Flail can't. When did they change the wall? I switched the other weapon. It lets me dodge now. They changed it like either this last season or the season before. CTF could be kind of decent. Yeah, especially for the map where you can knock people off the edge. So you guys have it on C. I'm going CTF at least C. B for OPR. And I don't like I wouldn't even say B for like the thing with an OPR is it can actually heal itself, and people don't know how to dodge an OPR, so it actually kind of works. Like it's unironically better than a lot of tank builds. 3v3 I'm gonna like pass as it's a little bit too much of a cook to say that you use Geeterson and knock people out of the zone at the very end and just play for the expiring time to win. SNS Hatchet is a meta kill squad build. I wouldn't say it's seen a lot in wars anymore, but it's still seen. Like, it's more common to see either Void Blade taking the spot or Spear Hatchet taking this. Okay, yeah, we're doing this. Cool. Top of S.
dead game wide tier list for the new people because we haven't done one in 9 months. Alright, SNS BB time. I feel like this is better as an assassin build than as a tank build, but there is a cook where you run BB to blast shot people. The main reason why I wanted to put this here is because Kenneth did an EU war where he kind of died a lot, and the other tank in EU swapped to SNS BB and started blast shotting Kenneth, and it was kind of funny. SNS Chaos? Yeah, that's literally the tech. It's like SNS doesn't have an artifact that's really that good right now, so it's like, I guess, okay. I'm gonna be honest, this is at least a C for me for the CTF map where I can knock people off the edge. Definition of C, in my opinion. Yeah. It's like, it's niche to like literally that one map, but it's not bad on that one map. Oops, I copied that and didn't cut it. Alright. SNS Great Axe. This is a meta kill squad build. The idea is SNS has really good chase and Great Axe has really good chase, so put both them together and you can literally chase anyone, anywhere. Which is why people started having to cut Rapier for other, or like one of the reasons why people start cutting Rapier for other builds, because there's like no getting away from this build. But meta war build, 3v3. Is this build viable in 3v3? Like, that would be like the one spot where I'd question it, but everywhere else I would think it would be good. Viable anywhere? Okay. Well, you guys have S regardless. It is with Reap and Spin. Yeah, because that's like the one mode where I would think it would be questionable, but everything else, like, yeah, sure. S and S Great Axe are just, I'm using a copy button instead of the cut button for some reason. Alright. We have the tank build, the meta tank build. That is extremely boring to play, but it is good because Ice Shower is a thing. So I think minimum C, because war, definitely not good in 3v3, so it can't be S. OPR, sure. CTF, not the worst build in the world for holding the flag, but not something I'd love to see on my team. So like, and then open world, it's not bad either. So like, I think of like open world, war, OPR for this. So it's like somewhere between A and B for me. This is like the 0 IQ version of Flail IG. I mean, it depends how you play Flail IG. Like, the Flail IG I played in the last war was like a 0 IQ version of Flail IG because I couldn't, like, the fundamentals weren't there for me to be able to get value on Flail IG. Like, I could barely force healers off the point and, like, vortex people before crashes because point was not contested. It was, like, so messy. But we're going A here. I'm somewhere between here, to be honest. War, OPR, like even in OPR I don't love seeing this build, but like war influence race, like sure, OPR is like eh, so it's somewhere here. I mean in OPR it's not that bad. I mean I'll bear I kind of would rather put that in B, to be honest. Like I feel like Warhammer is a better build in OPR than IG, unironically. Like as somebody that plays SNS. Alright, SNS Spear. This is also a meta kill squad build that has a couple different variants. I don't know if it's viable in every single mode. Like, war definitely viable, open world definitely viable, OPR definitely viable, CTF definitely viable, 3v3 a little bit sketchy, but I wouldn't hate this sitting on the other team's healer.
It's just like Void Blade's just a better version in 3v3. Scorpion's fallen off. People don't really use Scorpion that much now. 3v3 just spec almost all CC. Yeah, and you just sit on the other team's healer. I mean, it's not bad. Like, you could do it that way. Scorpions for 3v3? I see. Alright, we have Firestaff Rapier. This is an interesting build because when unpunished, it's excellent, but when punished, it falls off really hard. And it used to be played a lot, and it has been played recently because it gets really, really punished by SNS Great Axe. So, like, I'm probably going A, to be honest. Because I don't think, like, you could run it in war, but it seems like something that you shouldn't be running in war right now. I don't know how to vote for this because anything with Firestaff is an S. I mean, that's the difference between A and S, though, is like, S is like, hey, you could literally run this anywhere. And then A is, it depends on the spec. But it's so mid compared to Firestaff Ice Gauntlet. I mean, that's just kind of the reality now. Like, they inadvertently buffed Ice Gauntlet. Like, the reason why Firestaff Ice Gauntlet wasn't used originally is because Greatsword hard countered it, and then they nerfed Greatsword so it can't counter IG for some reason. And then SNS Greatsword, or SNS Great Axe became a thing, so then people just swapped from Rapier to IG because the other build fell off. So, tend to agree. Lifestaff, Rapier. I don't think we even really need to vote on this. Three v three, obviously good. 10v10 C/CTF, obviously good. 20v20 OPR, obviously good. War, obviously good. Open world, obviously good. The part that, like, it becomes questionable is, like, do you want run it with Rapier or do you run it with Hatchet? And, like, most people, I think, prefer Hatchet in open world stuff, but then, like, Rapier, like, when everything's a little bit tighter. Like, when you need quick burst movement, Rapier's better, but when you need, like, extended movement, Hatchet. My rankings just a count of things I think it's good at the build. Only one mode is F and all other 5 modes, so BR 3v3 open and groups is S. I mean, what mode is F? I don't consider FFA Island to be a mode. Like, I'm putting it in S, and I'd put Hatchet also in S. FNA Island is dead content becomes a faction-based real PvP zone? Pretty much. Alright, Rapier Bow. It was a thing for a while. I feel like it's definitely not bad in 3v3. I'd prefer that over Hatchet probably in 3v3. But 10v10, like, it's a pretty meh build right now. OPR, pretty meh. We're going A. I feel like it's like, that's a pretty respectable A, but I'm probably gonna go B. Like, I feel like it's, like, not super consistent. If you're cracked, it could be good, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it depends on the person running it. Alright, we got Musket Rapier. Guys, we need more bees. Yeah, you guys don't have a lot of bees. I've got a good amount of bees. Definitely good in open world. Uh, okay in war, but not, I wouldn't say great in war, but like I'd say open world and maybe OPR would be good. I think on the CTF map with like wide open sightlines is not bad either. Yeah, that's where I said too. Like it's somewhere between a B and an A for me. OPR would depend on the map. Yeah, I think B is a fair spot because it depends on the OPR map and it also depends on the CTF map. Like the bridge, I wouldn't run this. Rapier, Ice Gauntlet. Kind of like a very safe ice spike build. Or yeah, you could do bleed rapier with it too. That'd be the other way to run it. I feel like this build is good in any mode that doesn't have cleanse pots. The problem is almost every mode has cleanse pots now. So like 10v10 doesn't have cleanse pots, 3v3 doesn't have cleanse pots, open world doesn't have cleanse pots. I don't really love the idea of running this in open world though. So I'd be thinking like 3v3 and CTF as like a bleed pop build. Bug Desert Sunrise plus nerfs nuke it. Yeah, and the problem is you could run Desert Sunrise into 3v3. Uh, so like, and it doesn't cost anything. And honestly, you could run that in CTF too. So yeah, it's probably a C. Like it's not that good anymore, unfortunately. All right, I'm gonna move everything up so that we can see stuff again. But we're getting there. Got what, 30 left? Pure duelist build, pretty much. Rapier VG. Uh, why did I save this one? Like, this is a good PvE build. I mean, is this ever good in PvP? SNS bow not viable. We rated it there. Like you could force it to like try to work, but there's literally 5 other builds that are better if you try to make it tanky and if you try to make it like do damage. Like I'd rather see a bow spear than an SNS bow. And I don't think bow spear is that good or like bow greatsword. Yeah, with the finisher combo was a quad DPS roll and an AP. All right. I mean, I respect the C, but like I'm honestly probably gonna put it in F because I just haven't seen it. Spear, rapier, rapier, spear, whatever you want to call it. This is the idea with this is you have bleed based stuff on the rapier for the most part. You have the spear and it just like some natural synergy between the two. Flail, Lifestaff, and F. We could re-vote on that one. But to be honest, that one is viable in OPR. I think the strong inner category should be viable. The problem with changing it to viable is like S, I definitely want to be strong in every mode. And if I say viable in 3+ modes for A, then it just gets really weird. Like I'd be comfortable changing C to viable in at least one mode, but I wouldn't go above that. I'd rather like that's the problem I have with like changing everything to viable. Rapier Spear's lack of mobility is horrid. I mean, yeah, Hatchet also has a similar problem. But that's like the main thing you run into. To me, it's like this is a really good 3v3 build. It's I'd say niche in war, but it's been seen in war. And then I'd say it's probably pretty good in 10v10 and OPR, so I'm probably putting an A. This one, oh, we wanted to vote on not Firestaff Hatchet first. We want to do Flail Lifestaff? Because I cut that one before. See where that ends up. But, I mean, the Flail buff only works if you don't have the Lifestaff out, is the idea. But, yeah, you could run this in OPR, I think. 10v10, probably not the worst thing in the world either. I have a friend that plays this open world. If you're good, it's not that bad. Yeah, it's just one of those where it's like if someone's on top of you, you might not live very well, but you can give a good amount of stuff to other people. All right, yeah, we could throw it in B. I don't hate that. Uh, I'm probably gonna go C just for OPR. I've seen it, but I haven't really seen it in other stuff. I don't think anyone really uses follow up heavy on trip like at all. Like if you want to do like some heavy synergy, you can. Firestaff Hatchet, you can go Inferno. That'd be one option. And then your Hatchet has a big damage boost, but then you're stuck with the Firestaff. The other route would be I'm doing a lot of damage with the Firestaff and I'm using Hatchet for utility, either for debuff extensions or just to live. So it's like you're kind of comparing this to like Firestaff Rapier, but like it probably lives a little bit better. Firestaff Sin just slaps with wide plus infected throw. Yeah, like I mean, I would think like for me this is like probably an A. I'd probably say this is an A, and then Firestaff IG would probably be the S. Does Inferno still work with off weapon? Yeah, it works with off weapon. So the difference between the wall and that is the wall is based off on equip, and if you have an offhand that doesn't equip an SNS, that thing won't be active. That's like one of the mechanics that people use with their Relentless tanking too. Or to use an offhand that like won't have it active, so that you can live more. Why is everything highlighted here? But I'm probably putting this one in A, and then other builds later on higher up. All right, Firestaff, Great Axe. This is like you could think of it as using the damage Firestaff or like the Inferno, or you could think of it as using Abyss. I'd mostly think of it as Abyss. I wouldn't say Abyss is viable in war. It was viable at one point. I'd say those days are kind of not really seen as much, because Abyss is kind of just worse Void Gauntlet. To be honest, and like I don't know, you just run into an issue there. But 3v3 definitely good, OPR definitely good, 10v10 definitely good. Like I think like anything outside of war, this is viable. So going A, I tend to agree. Firestaff IG time. Could I just do another pull on top of a pull, or does it get mad? No, it gets mad. This is the kind of meta Firestaff build. I assume we're just going to throw that in S and call it a day. Yeah, okay. Not really too much more to say about that. It's just IG's like the best way to consistently live right now. And it's good for padding too if you want to do that. Just pop Can't you just pop a mana pot though? Like, why do you even have to worry about mana costs? Like, just use the stupid pots. Firestaff, Void Gauntlet. In regens, yeah, regens for mana. Do people use Whirlwind Artifact Great Axe? A little bit, but it's pretty niche. I feel like smaller scale this is better, definitely not viable in war. I'm probably putting this one B, because I feel like it gets punished really hard, but if you don't punish it, it's still a good build. You can go Void Blade with it too, and that makes it kind of interesting. Firestaff BB. I'm gonna assume that we treat this pull like the bug is fixed, because otherwise this would be an F for me. But like BB wasn't consistently working like with as an offhand with Pest for some reason. Bug. It's just a Pest bug. Or Pest isn't working on offhands for some reason. The problem with BB is it doesn't live very well, but in theory it adds to your damage, and it's a safer option than Void Gauntlet. Unless you go the Void Blade route, in which case you don't really need to kite. I'm probably gonna put it like C. Like I feel like it's something like you can run, and I wouldn't be mad at you for running it, but it's like not something I really want to see right now because of the bugs. It used to be a lot better than it is now. Like it should be like good. It's just like the bug makes it like yeah. Lifestaff Hatchet. This one should be probably quick. But people do Rapier, people do Hatchet with Lifestaff now, and those are the two most played specs. Pest needs a substantial buff, 3 seconds is comical. The problem is at the time it was really good, and now there's been like better stuff like coming out, so it's just like isn't nearly as good anymore. So this one's an S. Lifestaff Great Axe. This is more like whirlwind oriented Great Axe in order to live. Main downside with running that one is that it takes a while to move, but you have grit during it and you have damage reduction while you have grit, so that part's good. I'm not gonna lie, anytime I see this, I'm just like kind of questioning like why the healer's running that. They're probably running that charge, and like I don't even know what their last perk is, but like it's pretty cursed to see it on a healer, but it does work. It's just like kind of cursed. But OPR definitely yes. Open world, I think it's a yes. So I'm probably gonna end up putting it in B. But I don't know if I'd like want to see it outside of that. Like in spots where you like need to run a lot, and yeah, Bloodlust is like a good perk, so like sure. I'm gonna put you guys in B because you don't have enough stuff in B, and I'm gonna put myself in B. Just give the tie to the higher one. Lifestaff Ice Gauntlet. Mostly niche. I think it's good in war. For defense in fort. Is Bloodlust still bugged? Was Bloodlust bugged? If Bloodlust is bugged, that sucks. I thought that was like one of the reasons why a lot of these builds are being played a lot. But war not that bad. OPR for like chokes is probably pretty good.
IG's a decent source of like rune charge, so that part's nice. Used to be the go-to for fort defending healers. Yeah, it's not really commonly used that much anymore. But I think it's just mostly because people haven't played the game that much. It's decent, not bad for how little it's played. I mean, yeah, it's an ice gauntlet, right? And like ice gauntlets are just kind of stupid. All right, you guys are getting a B here. I don't think I could put this lower than Great Axe. Like I would, it's just it's too good to do that. All right, Lifestaff Void Gauntlet. This one's a little bipolarizing. So in large scale, it's really good because you just can spam stone forms. In smaller scale, it's arguably good because you have a Void Gauntlet and you can scream people. The problem is like it can get caught out and just die. Can you go keen speed boots with this with featherweight? Is that a thing? Because if that's a thing, it's probably pretty good. Like everywhere, because you could always just have haystack kite shit. I mean, you could, yeah. Yes, that's the AoE healer build. Gotcha. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I'm probably gonna end up putting it in S just because of the keen speed boots, but it's like, it's mostly just because of keen speed bolts. This one's a lot, brings a lot, but yeah, if you're caught out, rip. I mean, the other thing too is you have like grip pots now, and those are like a good way to live. I'm probably putting this in S mostly just for like haste abusing stuff. Like haste is nerfed next patch, but end of the day, like if you have haste, people can't catch up to you. All right, we got bow musket. This is not really slotted in war anymore. Not really used in small scale anymore. But I feel like it's not bad in open world at least. OPR, I haven't seen it in a while. But main thing is you don't have a utility offhand, so it's kind of greedy. Alright, can I get one more person to vote so we can break the tie? Or am I just gonna throw you guys in B because you don't have enough Bs? Alright, cool. Oh, nope, and now we got a C. Never mind. I'm still gonna give the tie to B, I think. Because you guys don't have a lot of Bs. I'm cracked at FPS will shit on MMO's players build. Yeah. I'm putting it in C because I think it's mostly viable in like open world, but not really as good anywhere else. Bow hatchet. Meta bow build, but I would definitely not say S. Unfortunately, bow is not that strong in most modes right now. So war, it's definitely used. 3v3, I'd say no. OPR, I'd say okay. Like open world, I'd say yeah, sure. So like it's mostly war and open world where I think this would be good. A. I'm probably putting it here. Now you can Giga Farm with this in OPR if you can aim. Okay, so OPR, open world, war, that's 3. Then yeah, it goes A. Alright. We got some people's favorite build in the game. Oh, oops. Bow spear. By some people, I mean mostly just crushes.
I guess OPR and open world? Bro, I don't play this build. You made me not put it F. I wanted to put it F. This just gets farmed outside of 3v3. This is good in 3v3? If you have keen speed boots, I can see this working okay. Yeah, I mean, it just sounds cursed. I'm not gonna lie. Like I'm probably still putting it in F. Like I don't have mercy. Rapier VG's also good in threes. Yeah, I mean that's why it's C. Bow VG. So this is the greedy bow build. Threes and duels. I'm not counting duels as a mode right now. But it's definitely arguable as a mode. Did I do Musket Void Gauntlet? Oh no, we haven't rated it yet. Okay, cool. I thought we missed that one for a second. Bruh. What? If duels counted as a mode, then what do you call it would have to count as a mode? Then FFA would have to count as a mode, but FFA can't count as a mode because FFA isn't FFA right now. FFA is, can your one build survive 5 people on top of you because you're not going to get a fair 1v1. Alright, we got A for Bow Void Gauntlet. I can't rate anything with Bow higher than B right now, I'm not going to lie. I'm putting this in C. Like, I legitimately just, like, I'm kind of breaking the code at the top, but at the same time, it's like, Bow is just, like, in such a bad spot. Like, why would you ever run Bow over a Firestaff? Like, I'd say this is, like, an OPR build. And, like, maybe an open world build, but even then's, like, kind of cursed. Okay, I'll bump it to B off the basis that you can get keen speed boots with featherweight, and then Void Gauntlet's good at proccing those, but like, God, that is like such a cursed B. And like, I really don't want to put it in B, I'm putting it in C. Like, that'd be like the only reason why it would be viable and other stuff, and it's just like such a cursed reason to run that build. Alright, we've got like an OG combo oriented build that some people used to run, but isn't really played that much right now. SNS Firestaff is the cursed B, what the hell? No, I swear SNS Firestaff is actually good in OPR right now. And it's like actually good in 3v3 because the other team doesn't have a healer, you just auto win. This build is the trash version of Great Axe Blunderbuss, only exists because of using Mjolnir. VG bow's kind of nutty with the Sundering Stacks bow. I'll believe it when I see it. I'm purposely rating everything Bow low right now because I think Bow needs some love. Warhammer Blunderbuss C. Where is this good now? Is it just a 3v3 build? Because I don't really see it being good anywhere else. It's a middle mouse click build. Yeah, I'm sorry. You get no mercy from me today. That's going enough. I do not see it. Not bad in open world solo. You literally have no movement ability. Like, how do you live if you don't have a movement ability? Net shot? That's not a movement ability. It's like half a movement ability at best. Alright, this is Great Axe Warhammer. Obviously good in war, obviously, well, not obviously, but pretty good on the new OPR map. Felt very good in 10v10. I think 3v3 is the spot where this is questionable. In open world, it's okay. Like, to me, this is a definition of an A build, where it's like, there's some modes where, like, it's not good enough, but most modes it's good. So I'm putting it A, you guys have it A. Alright. We're getting to the end here, so it's starting to like bounce all over the place with what we're voting on. Musket Hatchet. So this is safe musket spec. Where you have dex space scaling and you have Hatchet for dex space scaling. Pretty meh because no damage boost artifact to use. Yeah, you go. This is like a debuff bot build. But it's like, why would you run Musket at that point? But like, I guess like open world, like sure, and it's like open world, sure. Is there another mode where I'd really be comfortable with this? No, I'm probably putting it in C to be honest. Like I don't even see it being good enough in war. Like that would be other large scale mode where it would probably be okay enough. Musket IG. So this is like Firestaff IG kind of, but with a musket. Build slept on but it lacks the uptime of finisher or life taker. Yeah, so you use deep freeze to get the damage boost, and you go for people that are slowed, I guess. You guys got B again. I'm still probably going C with this, and then like my VG and my Rapier would be higher for musket. Musket could slow people? Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, then I'd rate this one higher than the other one then. Yeah, that's a good point. Because you have crippling powder shot. Alright, we got slows don't proc deep freeze. Is it really only ice effects? Frozen, rooted, or chilled. Oh yeah, you're right. I'm taking it down one then. Oh shoot, I lost my tab. You were somewhere over here. Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was a slow too, I'm not gonna lie. But like if you think about most slows on like a large clump, like it's gonna be an ice effect, so then it would proc it. It's just like not consistent in some areas. Musket VG I think is like the more common one that you see in like war. Just because the damage output's high enough to where this is like actually kind of scary. So like I'd say war, OPR ish, but probably OPR, yeah, and open world. So I'd say like somewhere between A and B. I'm gonna give you guys another B if someone doesn't break the tie. Because you don't have enough Bs. A? Okay. I feel like I want to rate this higher than bow. Like I feel like it's better than bow, but it's worse than bow in certain spots. Like in war it would be worse than bow, but like in general I feel like musket's better than bow right now. But it's like not really a commonly used build anymore. Bloom makes it worse than bow. It has better damage output though. Like you could actually do burst damage with a musket versus you can't do burst damage with the bow anymore. Or you can't like you could do into ability stuff with bow, but like it's so much worse. And you can't collat, and like you can collat with musket. Like I feel like musket has more potential. Hatchet BB's kind of a OG assassin build. Not really super common now, but
I could see it being like a decent OPR build where you're catching people out. And like use like aim lock BB or something like that and just Hatchet to just move. It's just not played anymore. Yeah. Hatchet just is a great second weapon for survival. I mean, that's how Hatchet's normally used. It's not really used as like a main hand damage thing, but at one point you were using Hatchet as a main hand damage thing with Blunderbuss, and that's like how this was played. It's just not common anymore. Alright, I'm gonna give you guys a B so this looks more rounded, because it's not rounded right now. I think it's good enough to use in like OPR, and I think it's good enough to use in like... Nah, I can't really justify a B, to be honest. It's like mostly just like an OPR thing. Hatchet, Great Axe. This is like another OG build that's not really used as much anymore. Because Hatchet's kind of just worse SNS, I guess. But like you can run it. Tried this the other day in Sin with kind of owning. What were you doing? Like extending the duration of like crippling reap? Yeah, like it sounds odd. Is using the Great Axe root passive? Oh, ew. What? The one where you do a heavy attack? Ew. It's getting a lot of kills, Sumi. I mean, you get a lot of kills in any build you play, but yeah. I mean, I could see this being competitive in OPR. I could see it being good enough to run in like 10v10. So like, sure, but like I wouldn't run it outside of that. Spear Hatchet is a relatively meta build right now. I don't know if this is meta next season. That's the only thing about this. Like it's meta now, like basically in every single mode. The only problem is it doesn't really have a way to chase. But I don't know if it's like necessarily meta next season. Because I feel like that slot is the slot that people are going to start using for Greatsword Hatchet. Berserk is 20% haste, Torrent is 20% haste, social distancing is 20% haste. Feels way better than Spear Rapier. I see, so in terms of moving, it's not that bad. Alright, you guys got it A. Oops. There we go. Uh, I definitely wouldn't put this in S because I'm like a little bit worried for it, just because it's gonna lose its slot in some areas. But like I see this being good and at least OPR, and it will probably still be viable in War in a few spots. So yeah, like I think it belongs in A. All right, we're getting to the end here. BB Great Axe. This is Crush's build. No, this is I feel like it's kind of a slept on build. It's run in EU wars, although nichely with like one guy running it. Uh, Pretty good OPR. I'd say pretty good 10v10. So it's like, and it's not bad in open world either because you have Great Axe for chasing and BB for chasing. Like for me, I think it's like it's borderline AS. It just depends if you count like the one guy that's running it in the EU as like an S, and I probably wouldn't. The reap and to evaporate the enemy, basically, yeah. Don't even use reap on it. I know the guy in EU uses the spinny ability. Alright, I'm going with the same thought process of earlier where your guys' curve isn't really balanced, so I'm trying to make it more balanced and I'm forcing stuff into B where it's a tiebreaker, but like I think this one's definitely an A. Like now my B isn't tall enough. But to make it look pretty. But there's just like just a good amount of like C tier like things that are like niche now. Why is my poll keybind not working? There we go. BBIG. Kind of fallen off a lot, be honest. But in small scale, it's okay. B and A, if they get rid of aim lock buff on BB. The OG backline protect build. Yep. OG backline protect. Now it's mostly spear hatchet. Alright, I got 5 more after this. We're basically there. Are you getting one for the tiebreak, or is this going to be? Going to be. I'm gonna put it in B too. I feel like it's okay in like the smaller scale modes, but it's not as good in the larger scale ones. BBVG was meta in the last season at one point, and then like kind of fell off when they fixed the Sundering Stacks bugged. But like this was S tier for a brief period during the last season. It's kind of like BBIG, but it just does more damage. It's extremely squishy though, and if you look at it all, it just falls over and dies. But that being said, people in OPR and I think most people in CTF don't really look at squishy builds that just like nuke everybody. So you guys got B. I'm gonna put it in B as well. You got Great Axe, Ice Gauntlet. This is like an Abyss like niche thing that we kind of had to leave in there because Abyss is a weapon. Build is highly dependent on the scream hitting. Oh yeah, it's like one of the best combo pieces, or vines hitting, or you just, I mean, it's just like a slow chain build. Really, really good if you have a 1v1, like one of the most toxic 1v1 builds. The problem with Abyss with Ice Gauntlet is like it's kind of hard to keep the mana down. I think some people are cooking like using like vampiric vestments to keep the mana down, which then gives you life steal, which then helps the Great Axe like do more damage or some curse mechanism like that. Yeah, only chances build has is vampiric vestments, so I haven't tried yet. IG isn't mana hungry enough. Yeah, that's the problem. It has it like kind of fights itself. All right, you guys got C. To be honest, even with vampiric vestments, I don't know if it's good enough. I'm probably just gonna put it in F because I'm not comfortable saying that artifact is like good enough to make that class viable on its own. Great Axe, Void Gauntlet, similar situation. I guess you can go Void Blade with this, but then like you're again like kind of fighting the identity of the classic. Why would you run Great Axe and Void Blade? So this is probably a utility Void Gauntlet offhand, Great Axe main hand kind of thing, and looking to like Vines trap people, I guess. I feel like this is a better build in small scale than it is in larger scale. Like 3v3, it's not a terrible build because you have a Void Gauntlet, and Reap is like a good ability. Like, but I don't know. Just a bad version of IGVG Ellie Conductors, pretty much. Right, you guys are going B. Probably gonna give this one a C. I feel like it's like it's okay, but it's like it's really not that good. All right, we got IGVG. Is Conductor VG a thing now? Blade? Conductor VG is a thing. Heavy, Void Darkplate VG with Blade is a thing. Apparently Ginge Blade is a thing. There's also Utility VG. Like, all these are mostly war specs, but the Blade ones are also good in small scale. The Utility ones are not good outside of that. Like, this has a lot of different things that are viable right now. S. The weird part is I'm probably putting this in S too, but it's also a build that's like not actively slotted a lot of. All right, last but not least, we have a utility spear build that some people have argued should probably be slotted in war right now, but has not been slotted in war right now. In terms of other modes, like, you can run it, I just think it's kind of cursed. But the whole idea is it's really good at holding a space, right? You put down the shower, someone tries to walk through it, you start poking them with the spear. Like, that's all it does. Last one, we're going B. I'm gonna put this as a niche war build, but I don't really expect to see it outside of that. All right. So in terms of, let me move chat back over to the spot where I could see it consistently. The build has an identity crisis. Yeah, I mean that's like the main issue with it. Like it's like niche, but like it's like okay. So I mean you can see the things that are like kind of dominating the meta over here. Flail SNS, I feel like this one's more of a niche one of why it got ended up put in S. It got put in S because it's viable as a tank and it's viable as an assassin. So, and because it's viable in both specs, it could end up being viable everywhere. That one's like kind of an outlier. But all these other ones are basically, from your perspective, are like good in every mode. I'd argue Greatsword SNS isn't that great in war right now, but you have to take into account this is like a season 9 patch that we're talking about, right? And there's the artifact Greatsword, which makes it arguably like good in war. So, like Artifact Greatsword that's coming out sounds like it's going to be pretty good. So this could make a comeback. The main thing to look at here is half of these builds have SNS in them, which is just crazy. And then we have 2 IGs just because IG's broken. And then we have like 1 Hatchet build just for Lifestaff just to live because it lives slightly better than IG. It's also S because it's just so dominant what it's good in, Flail SNS. Yeah. Did we not do Flail Greatsword? Or sorry, SNS Greatsword? No, we did. We did. Okay. I had a heart attack for a second. But this is also like a good tank. Well, it's not good. It's a niche tank build too. But like I think for the most part, this is people are banking on this being good with the new Greatsword artifact. So that will be the kind of thing to consider. There's a lot of builds in the game that aren't really viable right now. You guys had 56 of them. I had like 60. So there's 105 total possible builds, and like basically two-thirds of them you just never see, which obviously isn't ideal design when you're trying to have a game where you can play any combination of stuff. So I feel like that's something kind of for AGS to look at where people aren't really playing stuff together. Greatsword, Great Axe. I think that ended up in F for me, but it ended up somewhere else for other people. Let's see. Yeah, ended up an F for chat and at F for me if we didn't rate it as being like no one contemplated that one earlier, so we didn't really vote on it. I just removed it from the list. But like I kind of get why you'd bring it up, but I don't know. Rip OG Kill Squad build? Yeah, not really a thing anymore.
So it's just like a lot of SNSs that are good right now, and then a few IG things, and like those weapons haven't really been nerfed a lot. I had a little bit more variety, so I'm like saying Greatsword Hatchet likely will be a meta build next patch, just because it makes sense with the artifact Greatsword that would be coming out. I have Rapier, Lifestaff, and Hatchet and Void Gauntlet all in S, because like if you get a healer in any mode, it's just like ideal. And Rapier is good in spots where it's like you don't need to be moving a lot, but you want to quickly reposition and get kills off. Void Gauntlet's incredibly good right now because you could run Featherweight with Keen Speed boots and just run around everywhere and get very easy procs for the Keen Speed off the Void Gauntlet orbs. And then Hatchet's really good right now because it's really good at living. But everything else is like pretty consistent. I just had like a few more kind of niche healer builds that were on here. So I have like 2 more builds I consider to be S tier compared to you guys. You guys have a lot of A builds. It's a lot of builds that you think are good in a lot of spots, but aren't perfect everywhere. I have like a good split between A, B, and C. So it's just like there's like a few builds that are just like kind of standouts and they're just like always good. But there's a good amount of builds that like have their niches. Like I'd say like Abyss, like Firestaff is one of those builds that has like its niches where it's really good. Or like Bruiser is a pretty common build that you see in a lot of places, but isn't viable everywhere. Like you're not gonna really see that in like say like open world, like trying to push stuff. Like you're generally not going to see that build. If you're not going to see that build a ton in like 3v3 too. You do Musket BB? I think we did, but I don't think Musket BB made it very far. Yeah, it got cut. The problem with, I mean, one of the problems with BB right now is Pest like doesn't really work because of its interaction with Desert Sunrise. Unfortunately. And it kind of fell off pretty hard because of that. So I don't know. I'll put this up on YouTube and kind of a clip of it, and people can go through the list on their own. But there's like the big thing to take away from this is the game is balanced in such a way that it's been optimized, and there's probably 10-ish builds that are really played everywhere, and then there's maybe 20-25 builds that could be played in certain spots between A and S, and then like everything else just kind of this niche. So like there's a lot of niche builds, but not a lot of like builds that are good in a large amount of places. Generally speaking, you have a main hand and a utility based offhand. That utility based offhand is either SNS Spear, or sorry, SNS Rapier, Ice Gauntlet, or Hatchet, and that's just how you mix and match builds right now. There's like not a lot of stuff where it's like, hey, if you choose a greedier offhand, you get rewarded. Like that's not really a mechanic. Invig Vigor murdered it too. Pest would still be decent if it didn't have an internal cooldown. Yeah, but the devs literally slap an internal cooldown on everything. Like I'd argue right now that Sundering Stack shouldn't have an internal cooldown, and it was balanced by having an internal cooldown. Like the problem with it is it doesn't like refresh the duration of the previous thing that was applied, so you can't get to high stacks, and it doesn't stack quickly. So it's like one of those things where you need to have like literally everybody running it, and then it will actually work, or you need to have nobody running it and you just forget about it. And it's just very odd. Yeah, it's unfortunate for Pest, but it is what it is. But yeah, I think in terms of like meta shifting for season 9, like the biggest thing is we're gonna see the Greatsword come out and see how that affects the meta and see how stuff rotates around it. Because as that Greatsword becomes meta, then it's like stuff on the point is gonna be taking more damage. So you expect more builds that are better at absorbing damage will become better. So like Relentless comes to mind, especially with like Relentless bug being fixed. Do you imagine that Kill Squad is going to get really weird because people are just going to be sending those waves at each other, and